I get asked so many questions when it comes to relocating to the Tampa-St. Pete area, and I'm sure you've got a ton of questions as well. In this video today, I'm talking about moving to Tampa, the 5 most frequently asked questions. So let's get after it right now. Hey there, future Floridians. I'm Emily. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Florida, and I live in the Tampa-St. Pete area. And this channel is dedicated to everything having to do with the real estate market in the Central West Coast and all the fun activities that go along with that. So if it resonates with you, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and don't forget a thumbs up if you like this content. Don't forget as well, you can always leave me a comment below. You can add to this video, or if you've got any suggestions, I take those as well. And don't forget, I'm a relocation specialist, but I can't help you if you don't reach out to me. The best thing for you to do is to click my calendar link below, and we can start a conversation and get your plan rolling. So today I kind of wanted to go over a couple of these questions that I get asked quite frequently, 5 to be exact. I narrowed it down for you.
Nice.
And when moving to the Tampa-St. Pete area, I know that you guys have a ton of questions. And so it really is my job to help clarify some things and kind of help you get over that hump. And so today we're going to tackle those questions. So number 1, hurricanes and lightning. Oh my.
Yeah, scary.
I get asked about hurricanes on every call I have, and that's fine. I'm here to help explain the whole hurricane myth, because I'm gonna tell you, the news makes them look like these big monsters. I mean, especially when you have that aerial view or the satellite view, it looks like this huge thing, right? And it is. But it's not like we look up and there's this big looming cloud. It just looks like a big rainstorm with lots of wind and debris flying around. So we got lucky with Ian, as I've mentioned before in some other videos. That was the hurricane that happened last year in 2022. And we did not have a lot of rain, actually. We were supposed to flood, but we didn't. And so that's another thing that you have to keep in mind. There's no hard and fast rule when it comes to hurricanes. They are their own beast. So we were supposed to get the same devastation that Fort Myers had, but Ian happened to come close to us and then reverse and then went back east. That never happens. There are a few myths around why that happened, and people have their theories. So Florida, as you know, is known for its Seminole Indian tribe, and the Seminole Indians had these protected burial sites. And that is what a lot of people are saying keeps us from having devastating hurricanes. And the truth is, we haven't had a devastating hurricane in over 100 years. So knock on wood, we can keep rolling with it as they come. So I wouldn't let hurricanes deter you from your dream of moving to the Tampa-St. Pete area. There are definitely flood zones. We're going to talk about that in a minute, so hang tight. I do have a bonus that I'm going to talk about at the end that will go along with that as well. So stay till the end.
Stay.
But when it comes to hurricanes, you get a ton of warning, and you're going to want to get your hurricane kit together when you move here and have a home. You're going to want to make sure that you have a plan with your windows, whether you put fabrics that you can put over the window, or some people board them up, or you can get even the aluminum covers for them as well. That basically just keeps the debris that's being blown up from crashing into your window and cracking the window. If it's a newer construction home, you're not going to have as much issue because most of those windows are weather impact. So that is something that we look at when we're going to look at homes, by the way. So there is no hard and fast rule with hurricanes. It depends on the category, I should say, and it depends on where you're located. But let me tell you, these past couple of hurricanes in the past 5 years, they've all gone to Orlando. The best thing to do is follow the local weatherman. Dennis Phillips is our favorite, and he will guide you about what to do and how to prepare. And you might want to get yourself a generator and just make a little plan. And then when hurricane season starts, you're going to start to see, and you're going to feel it out. And they're not as bad as everybody says they are. It's a lot of wind, and it's a lot of rain, and it's a lot of debris. And if we're lucky, we don't get any flooding. It really just depends on that storm, okay? Sometimes tropical storms are going to give you more rain and more potential for flooding than a hurricane. So, little pro tip. Don't worry about hurricanes so much. I promise, you'll be fine. Number 2, alligators. I have this joke that I tell people when we talk, and if you'd like me to reenact it when I talk to you, I'll do that as well. It's like, alligators are not walking down the street smoking a cigarette going, hey, how's it going? They're not doing that. Sometimes, yes, do they get lost because we have built on top of their nature preserve and they, think that that's still their home? Yeah, they get lost. You can call the wildlife rescue and they will come and they take them and put them where they need to be. Usually they take them out to the nature preserves where they all are. And you're not going to run into them so much. Now, I've lived in this condo community for 5 years. I've never seen an alligator until like a month ago. And I saw a baby alligator swimming in my canal. He was super cute. He's swimming with these ducks, and the ducks were looking at him like, what the heck are you doing? You're not a duck. And he was probably lost. Now, I mentioned that to my neighbors, and my neighbor said, oh, but we saw 2 6-foot alligators down the way on somebody's dry dock, sunbathing, mommy and daddy. So I've never seen or heard alligators 6 foot long in our canal. So that's new. Now, am I going to go racing out to kayak in my canal? Probably not. But I'm going to find out if somebody came and got them and took them back to where they belong. So that's what happens. Sometimes you'll find them in these little, ponds and that sort of thing. You just have to be careful of your small dogs. There was a woman recently that did get killed walking her small dog around a pond that happened to have an alligator, and she got too close. And in my opinion, now I don't know, I don't remember every detail of the story, but I know that she was killed. The dog, veered off to get away from the alligator, and she was old and did not have that same reaction time, unfortunately. So I always say when I'm walking my dog in any neighborhood, I always make sure we are a good distance away from any body of water, because you just don't know. And if they're hungry and there's a little dog walking by, they're going to snap it. It's just the way they are. They're not going to attack you just to attack you. That's just not their behavior. And I have kayaked in the natural springs with the alligators, and they're sitting there not doing anything. As long as you don't provoke them. Don't provoke them. Don't get near them. Just keep moving on.
Don't.
They're used to people on those like freshwater trails that you can kayak down. So the best thing to do is not freak out. That's all I can say about alligators. I think that's a lot. Number 3, schools. That's a really good question. A lot of people have been asking me about schools. Obviously, a lot of my clients have children, and so we actually work together to kind of educate and understand the areas and the school ratings and the different options. I do have a video I just posted last week about schools, how to find the best school. And so we're going to put that right up there for you. So that's going to give you a lot more detail about the school systems and public school versus charter school versus private school. And what we kind of decided, my friends that I spoke to on this video that were kind enough to join me on my video, and that are in the school system as teachers for over 25 years, the best thing to do is to find the area you want to live in and then look at the schools around it, because you have a ton of options. And again, we have links, niche.com, I think it's greatschools.org. I'll put those links down below as well. And again, check that video out for more detail on schools. Number 4, crime. Crime. That's a touchy subject. So yeah, do we have crime? Yes. Do we have the kind of crime that you might be used to in, say, in New York or Chicago or LA or Atlanta? No, not in my opinion, not what I have witnessed. Now, I'm sure other people have witnessed it. There is crime. There are many websites. If you do a Google search of, crime ratings in Tampa, I'm sure you can find some really reputable sites that can tell you what areas have higher crime. I'll be honest, I live in town and country. Town and Country has everything from low-income housing to multi-million-dollar housing, and we get, I think, a C rating on the crime score. Now, have I personally witnessed any crime? No. I'm on that neighborhood app, with your Ring doorbell, and yes, do I see things that pop up? Yes. I've had a few things happen in my condo community, because we definitely have some renters in here, and whenever there's renters, there can usually be a little bit of an issue. But all in all, I feel safe as kittens. And there aren't many areas in Tampa and St. Pete that I don't feel safe. Now, there's some neighborhoods, especially in St. Pete, that I've addressed that are not as well kept. And they haven't really had their, regentrification yet, but I wouldn't call those unsafe. There are definitely some areas that might have some drug-related activity going on, but when you look at some of these websites and you dive in a little deeper as to what the crime is, it's not that terrible. So it's just the nature of our world we live in and the population, and there's always going to be some sort of crime. But I think you'll be fine in most neighborhoods that you're going to want to live in. Number 5, flood zones. Okay, so here's the deal with flood zones. The biggest concern you need to maybe understand when you're trying to look at property and you're considering flood zones is the elevation of the property and also the history of that property. Have they had a flood in the past? Just because you're in a flood zone doesn't mean you're always going to flood. I'm in a flood zone. I've never flooded. Now, has the water come up above our seawall and onto our sidewalk? Yes, I witnessed that once. That doesn't mean you won't flood, but what they're telling you is the possibility for flooding is greater in this area. But also, what kind of house is it? Is it a brick house? Is it, is it 2 levels? Is there a bit of a pitch from the driveway to the garage so that the water can recess down? These are things that we look at when we're looking at properties and we're looking at the flood zone and we're looking at the history of the property. So I would not rule out flood zones, just as because you're scared of it. Take it property by property. If there's an area that you really love and it's got everything you want in it and it's in a flood zone, let's dive a little deeper. What's the history of that area? Has it had a major flood in the past? There's a lot that we can dig up on a property, but a lot of times it's really going to be based on the elevation of the home. Okay, and you can always go to the FEMA map if you want to look at specific flood zone and flood zone areas. And there is on the Pinellas County, because Pinellas County is primarily a flood zone, which is on the west side of Tampa. So you can go to Pinellas County, I think it's .org, and you can look at Find My Zone, and that will show you where the flood zones are if you're looking at specific neighborhoods or homes. So again, you can utilize your real estate agent or me to help you understand flood zones with each individual property as you go. That's my tip. And for our bonus, I get this all the time. Emily, where should I live? Oh my goodness, is that a loaded question? There are a lot of popular real estate videos out there talking about maybe 5 areas, and I'm here to tell you there's like triple that. There's not just West Chase and South Tampa and Wesley Chapel. There are a ton of wonderful neighborhoods. Carrollwood, Northdale, I grew up in Carrollwood, so I'm a little partial. Palm Harbor, Oldsmar, Safety Harbor, Dunedin, and even Clearwater. Clearwater is getting a huge revamp. And then let's not forget St. Pete. There's so much going on in St. Pete. I send lots of clients there just to you might want to check out St. Pete just to maybe rule it out. I personally think it depends on, and this is the conversation that I have with clients and I would have with you if you called me. We're going to talk about what you like to do. Do you need to be closer to the beach? Are you someone like me that you got to be able to drive to the beach if you're having a bad day and you just kind of want to stare at that water? Or on the weekends, you want to spend your entire Saturday at the beach, hanging out with your kids or your friends or whatever. Then you need to be on the west side of Tampa. If you don't really care, but every so often you might go to the beach and you're willing to make a commute, because it's probably about an hour from, let's say, Wesley Chapel, right? So that's the east side of Tampa. That's the northeast side of Tampa. And even in Riverview or Brandon, which is the southeast side of Tampa, you're not really near any beaches. So if that's not important to you, but you like nature trails and you like, having a little bit more land and a little bit more wide open space, then I would send you to the Wesley Chapel area, to the Brandon, the Riverview, and even down now into Ruskin and Apollo Beach. Apollo Beach doesn't have a beach. Keep that in mind. So I really think there are a ton of areas to explore. When we get on the phone and talk, I usually try to help guide you into 5 areas, and then you come to town and you kind of investigate on your own, and then we narrow it down even further from there, and that really helps so that we can hone in and get ready to keep our eyes peeled for when your property comes available and we can make an offer and snatch it up. Well, I hope some of this information was helpful, if not entertaining, especially about the alligators. And as always, I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. That really helps me out a lot. And don't forget to subscribe and to hit the notification bell. That helps me too. And if you have a question that I missed, put it in the chat. I'll answer it as best I can. And as always, if you're looking to relocate to the Tampa St. Pete area, you must reach out to me. I most certainly can't help you unless you contact me. The best thing to do, I have a calendar link below. Jump on my calendar and let's get a 30-minute conversation going. We do it over Zoom, and it's better to do it over video. We can meet each other and I can show you the map, but I can show you the MLS, and we can dive a little deeper into what you're looking to do. And so again, appreciate you visiting my channel and taking a look at this video. I hope it was fun and informative. And until next time, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.